All right, guys. Hey, thanks for joining me today. What a gorgeous sun's out. I just got here after work. I kicked Dad out of here, and he's been cutting this 70-acre down, and I kicked him out so I could at least get a couple hours of my own farming time in. Sent him home with the 4430. So we got the loader tractor back at the farm. We're 9 miles from the farm roughly, or something like that. Ain't too far, but yeah, this is some awesome stuff out here. This is by no means a Ted Collar windrow day. We'll never compete with Ted, but there's a mountain of feed out here. Let's start this little field up. Catch 7th gear. There's a cute little field. Another great day to be a farmer. I don't know what it is with hay, but it's just super pretty, you know, when they got the cleaned up ground and then that windrow. I got where you split the field, you end up with a slight triangle throughout the length of the field. So I'm just cleaning up them short rows, then over here I can get back to the long rows. The windrows over here are so big I had to use the diff lock on the 4640 to pull the rake. Let's see how the new starter might have to prime. Oh, there she caught. That fuel bleeds down once in a while, so it sits for if it sits for a week or longer. I forgot. I gotta go pump the fuel up by hand, but yeah, well, that starter just whistles that motor over. Holy crap. It's old girl. I kind of miss it. I loved this combine. I really did. You know, the wife used to just sit. We'd put this arm rest down, and she'd fill this area up with pillows, a couple pillows, and then I think a bunch of pillows, and then maybe one of her sweaters. So then she'd make a chair here, and then the two of us got a lot of hours riding this combine together, and this is her first combine that she got to drive, and she did some corn with it. She never got to do soybeans, but she did a lot of corn for a couple years. I think in 2011, when I lived out of state in 2011. That was her first year of getting to do corn. Her and Dad did that. I was up driving piling up in North Dakota, up in Drayton, and so that fall Karen had to do the combining, and then a couple years later we just worked together, you know, just like a normal couple, and she did really good. It was kind of funny. It was a cold late November day, and boy, that wind like today, I mean, that was a 30-mile-an-hour hard wind, and it was brutal. And so I showed her how to drive the 4640 to drive over to the elevator, and we came back and she rode with, and she's watching the combine again, and I said, well, there you go, you know, your first wagon's full, get going. And she's like, screw that, you're going, I'm staying in here. And I'm like, oh, you think you got this? She's like, I got this. And so she was combining ever since. But maybe next year we'll have, I think at the rate things are going, we're going to have 300 some acres of corn over in West Rock, maybe. Not quite sure, but I think we'll have 300 some acres, so we'll have almost 460 acres of corn, or 360, something like that next year. And so we'll try and get her some seed time in corn next year. But yeah, a lot of old memories in this girl. I love it. It was a fantastic machine when we first got it. We had a 7700, so I had a 70. The wife and I, Dad and I went on a road trip and bought a 7700, and it was a clean low-hour machine and a 16-foot head. The 16-foot head is still, a neighbor bought it from me. The combine got smashed in the rear end, and then in an accident. So then we pulled the engine out, and the engine is what is in the 4430 now. We had it there, like someday we'll rebuild it, and then the 4430 spun a bearing, so we just put that engine in the 4430. I sold the tires, the drive tires, to another farmer that just passed away, and so we got triple our money back scrapping the combine out, plus we ran it for several years across the farm, and then we got this thing, and boy howdy, that gear shift, the wife would ride with me with a gear shift. Well, the gear shift, you know how that is. You had to twist the knob and put it in reverse while you're pushing the clutch down. So when we got to a corner, the wife would get out, I would open the corner up big, and then she'd climb back in and we'd go to the next corner. And then we got to the point of like, okay, you don't ride until we get the field opened up, then you can ride with. And I love that 7700. That thing never had 1 minute of downtime for me. That thing just ran every day. But then we got this 8820 with a hydro and the 930 bean head, and the first day we're out in the field, we were just like, what the crap? This is way too awesome. Went from a 15 to a 30 foot, and now we're at a 40 foot. Going from 30 to 40, it's just like, yeah, you know, that cool factor just wasn't quite there. But going from 15 to 30, that was awesome. And we just, like the little field, the field across the road here, that's an 18, 19 acre field. And with the 7700, I'd open up this headland, and then at that time I had just a couple old 250 wagons, and I bought them out of the weeds of some farms. So they were the ones that you put duct tape in them. You put duct tape in them in the fall, and then you got to use a pry bar to help get the doors open, kind of deal, and you had to shovel them empty because they just didn't flow anymore. And with the 7700, you'd start on this field, and it'd be like, Saturday 10 a.m. like, well, I'll whip this thing out in a couple hours, and then I'll be down the road, and blah blah blah. And 6 hours later, you're finishing the field up, it's dark, and it's dinner time. And but yeah, and then we got the 8820, and it's the same thing, like, oh, I suppose it'll be dinner time by the time I get done with that field. And like an hour and a half later, you're done with that field, and you're like, oh, okay, that was pretty cool. And so yeah, we 110 acres was our best weekend with the 8820. That included like 6 moves, and at that time there was no unloading on the go. It was doing gravity wagons, so sometimes you'd have to shut the combine down and haul your own wagons. So doing it that way, 110 acres in a weekend, that was a fantastic old girl. You got to know how to drive it. There's a lot of little quirks to driving it, but yeah, I got a million stories in this combine. But we'll end right there, and we'll get back to our chores.